In chapter 3 of Ruth, the story gets very interesting because now Boaz has reached out to Ruth and to take care of her. And when Naomi found out that Ruth was working in the barley fields of Boaz, she knows that Boaz is one of their kinsmen, and perhaps Boaz could come to the rescue to redeem them. That's what the story of chapter 3 and chapter 4 is all about, redemption. Let's take a look at that. On a physical level, in verse 3, Boaz is our kinsman, and Ruth is instructed by Naomi to let him know that she is willing and interested in him marrying her and becoming her kinsman redeemer. I'll get to that in just a moment. And so she sends Ruth to the threshing floors at night. Boaz is resting, sleeping after a hard day's work and after supper and so forth. He's lying down, he's sleeping. And by the instruction of Naomi, who is giving her instructions on what to do, she says to her that when he lies down, verse 4, then you shall take notice of the place where he lies, and you shall go and uncover his feet and lie down. Then he'll tell you what you shall do. Now, some have jumped into this from an American Western mentality and said, well, this is seduction. Matter of fact, I read a very popular book some years ago that says, here's seduction. This is how you're supposed to seduce your husband or so forth. Or that perhaps Ruth is being a loose woman here. And that is not what's happening whatsoever in this account. This is going along with the customs of the times, which draws from the law and perhaps has been adjusted to the times to some degree. But when she comes to the threshing floor, she's not trying to seduce him. She is letting him know that she is willing to be married to him, that she's willing to come under his protection and to become his wife. And this is one of the ways that this would be indicated. So she does exactly that. And according to the Old Testament, one of the laws that was there in Leviticus chapter 25, verses 47 to 49, is that if a man died and left a widow behind who had no children, her brother, or his brother, would come along and marry that widow and raise up children in the original husband's name. That was part of the law. And that is what we're looking at here. Ruth has never had children, and she is a widow and a kinsman, normally the brother, or if the brother can't do it, a next in line kinsman could actually perform this service. And so Boaz is very interested in doing this, and Ruth is interested in him doing it as well. When he wakes up that night, though, in verse 9, he says, "Who are you?" And she answered, "I am Ruth, your maid. So spread your covering over your maid, for you are a close relative." Now, in no sense is she being seductive. In no sense is she trying to be loose in her morals. She is saying, look, if you would like to become my kinsman redeemer, if you would like to be the one who would come along to marry me and raise up children in my husband's name, if you would be the one that would rescue and redeem our family, then I am willing. And it's interesting, too, in Deuteronomy chapter 25, verses 5 to 10, it was apparently incumbent upon the widow to take the initiative. If she didn't want to be redeemed, she didn't have to be. But she would take the initiative and let the kinsman know that she was available. And that's exactly what Ruth is doing. No seduction here, simply following the letter of the law. And so he's excited about that. As a matter of fact, he's concerned that, verse 10, that she would probably go after a younger man. Apparently Boaz is a little bit older. No indication he's ever been married or has any children. But he is surprised that she wants him and thrilled to do so. And he does say in verse 12, "Now it is true I'm a close relative. However, there is a relative closer than I. Remain this night, and when the morning comes, if he will redeem you, good. Let him redeem you. But if he does not wish to redeem you, then I will redeem you as the Lord lives. Lie down until morning." And so we see this word redemption or redeem showing up now. It's going to show up 12 times in chapters 3 and 4. 4 times here, 8 times in the next chapter. This is what the story is about, the redemption physically of Ruth and Naomi. We'll get to that tomorrow. But there is something in the way of Boaz doing that, and that is a closer relative. And so he is saying, I will do it, but we'll have to find out tomorrow. So verses 14 to 18, he sets it up so that the next day he could find out whether this other closer relative was interested in redeeming Ruth. Well, we'll see what happens tomorrow in chapter 4.